Good morning. My name is John Talk. I'm privileged to be the rector at Emmanuel Episcopal Church here in beautiful Southern Pines, North Carolina. And today, as we take another look at the Beatitudes, whether you are here in Moore County or you're somewhere around the world, we want to say thank you for joining us on this really, at least to me, interesting journey through some of Jesus' most important words. Today we are continuing our sort of movable feast. Last week we were in one of my very favorite places, the kitchen of Emmanuel Church, and today we are in another one of my very favorite places, the Wall Tower Mouse Foundation here in Moore County. Right up that hill is Hilltop Cemetery, a place where many of my beloved friends are and where even more of my beloved friends will be. Over there is our barn and home, and right behind you, right behind that camera, is Highway 1, ready to take you right up to Raleigh and Costco. So as you know, as we've been discussing, the Beatitudes are a series of short little sayings, short little almost proverbs, but not quite proverbs, that are found at the beginning of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount in the book of Matthew. By the time we get to this portion of the book of Matthew, chapter 5, Jesus has already collected his disciples, and in fact has collected a crowd, has collected a following of thousands of people, and is sitting on the hilltop giving them the so-called Sermon on the Mount, the summation of his theology, his words talking about God and our relationship with God. And at the core of that sermon are the Beatitudes. We've been taking them one by one over the course of the past few weeks. And after today, I think we'll have 2 more weeks to go. But today's Beatitude is verse 9 of chapter 5, reading from the NRSV. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Now, in our society, in my life growing up, when I think of peacemakers, I often think of the behavior of the prototypical middle child, the person who goes between warring factions, the older brother and the little brother, trying to make peace, trying to end conflict, trying to resolve problems. We see this person moving between, at least in our imaginations, moving between warring faction, knitting together some sort of deal to end violence, physical violence, emotional violence, verbal violence, but to end violence. I'm pretty sure that that is not only what Jesus is talking about here. Now, yes, an end to violence might very well be a predicate to peace, but it's not peace itself. So what could Jesus be talking about? As I was thinking about that this week, I sort of wanted to put myself into the place where Jesus was. What intellectual framework was he working with when he spoke of peace? What was in the milieu, the environment that he lived in that spoke of peace? Now, as you recall, he spent a ton of time in Greek cities, in Capernaum and etc., teaching and preaching, and he would have been familiar with the Greek gods. The Greek god of peace, Irene, and Irene is simply the Greek word for peace. The Greek god of peace is female. It has four 4 symbols of office. If we take a look at these symbols of office, I think we might be able to see a little bit about what peace truly means. First and most famously, Irene carries a scepter. Now, a scepter is simply a stick. It's a rod. It's a lot like the rod that our verger uses in worship. It's a stick that brings order out of chaos. It's a rod that orders people's lives in harmony with this world and with each other. It's a rod that brings not control, but order. An ordered relationship between people. An ordered relationship between people and this natural world. An ordered relationship between people and God. A relationship lived day to day in ordinary life, led by the seasons, the coming up of the sun, the going down in the west, lived day to day, ordered by peace, by Irene. The second symbol she had was a torch, a light so that everyone can see. A light so that everyone can see each other, can see God's blessings, can see where they're going, where they are placed. The third, and the one that we draw most often in school, especially around Thanksgiving time, is a cornucopia. A horn of plenty, a never-ceasing abundance of physical, of economic goods. And the fourth is a party tool, a cup called a raion, which was used by the Greeks in their drinking games. A symbol of fun, of frivolity, of relationship. So these 4 things were important in Jesus' time to peace. Orderliness, clear visionness, economic abundance, and relational fun. So too for us. I think so too for God. God gives us an ordered life. God gives us eyes to see and ears to hear. God gives us this natural abundance. God gives us the ability to form relationships with each other. And when we use these tools to make peace, to create peace, then we are truly God's children. These tools have been given to you to share with all your brothers and sisters. These tools have been given to all of us to create community. These tools have been given to all of us to help make the kingdom of God, so that we may be God's children, not simply this day and this place, but forever and ever.